Hello again. Welcome to the May edition of the monthly Flowcast. I'm Adam White, and we're going to jump right in. So first up, we have one of the coolest updates of the month, which is the ever-requested feature to add picklist values to Datatable. So Eric Smith took it upon himself once again to outdo himself and added picklist edit ability on his Datatable component. Sadly, it doesn't support record types yet. Oh, but wait, it actually does. 2 weeks later, Eric added the ability to specify record type, and he also fixed a formula overflow bug where the table didn't wrap formula fields properly. Alex posted a few more new YouTube channels focused on Flow recently. There's Salesforce Break with Andy Utkan, who I've actually posted in a previous Flowcast, who has fantastic tutorials. There's also SFDC Craftsmanship, and Adam Foyston, who has some crazy production value. Definitely puts me to shame. So if you want to check out some of the new YouTube channels new to the game, feel free to check these out. Josh Dayment, one of our unofficial SF MVPs, released a new version of the file uploader component that he published last month. If you haven't been following this component, it allows you to actually upload multiple files, and you can actually see the file names being uploaded, which is a limitation of the current file upload component. And now it also accepts accepted formats as an input, and also the ability to control whether or not it can upload multiple files as a flag. I guess Josh was bored this month because he followed up his last component with a newer component that allows you to display iframes inside of a flow embedded in an LWC. So the use case here was an example where he used his file uploader component and then basically using a public URL, using content delivery, was able to then open it within the flow using that public URL. So there are lots of other use cases, like if you haven't set up an integration with an external site, you could open it up within an iframe, and his article lists some of the gotchas with that approach too, but check it out. Hayes Davis over at Gradient Works, who is a AppExchange partner of Salesforce, has published an article on his learnings and best practices around custom property editor development. So if you've had a hankering to develop CPEs, aka custom property editors for Flow, I would highly suggest you check this out. One of the newest additions to the collection processors packages is the CollectionCalculate action by Alex Edelstein that allows you to add, multiply, or average values given a field name from a collection. So this would be super handy for things like roll-ups, for example. What has to be one of the neatest new components is the Flow Flexcard. So once again, Josh Dayment released a new update for it, which allows multi-select of cards, rich text support, and a little bit more styling control over headers, and then some overall UX enhancements. So he goes through each of the different enhancements and then walks through a video of how to use the new features. James Simone, who is an author of the very popular Joys of Apex blog and recent Salesforce hire, I might add, created an article on Invocable Apex and static code. So if you're just getting your feet wet with Invocable Apex, this is the place to start. He goes through some of the challenges of Invocable Apex, how to organize it well. He also talks about dependency injection, and quite honestly, some of it's a little over my head, because I don't consider myself a tried and true developer, but some of it I do understand and get some value out of. So if you are in the mood to learn more about Invocable Apex and some best practices, definitely check this article out, and also all the other awesome articles he hosts on his page. So I really should have done this probably second or first, because this has to be one of my favorite releases for a component, or updates for a component, in recent memory. So David Fromstein, who is a solution engineer at Salesforce, released basically a CPE-based update, which is kind of an understatement for what he did to the Navbar component. So if you've checked it out before, it was basically a way to create custom buttons to override the next and finish labels for flows. So what this allows you to do is do the same thing, but do some really crazy stuff that allows you to basically select icons. There's like an icon picker. He's even created a way to drag and drop within the actual flow builder. So he's made an enhancement to the CPE that lets you reorganize the actual configuration of the component, which is crazy to me. So a lot of us were nerding out when we saw this internally at Salesforce. But definitely check this out. This is one of my favorite releases in quite some time. I hope you guys enjoyed my quick and dirty summary of the flow development world in May. Stay tuned for next month's June edition.